As a North Carolina wildlife law enforcement officer, your career takes you off the pavement and into
wild spaces.
10-4, I got 2 on the right.
2-3-4, go ahead with your traffic.
On wild rides.
On wild adventures.
Lifting you to wild heights.
Utilizing wild technologies.
And exploring wild sights.
Take your career to wild places at the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission.
Hello everyone, my name is Justin St. Ange. I want to thank everyone for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you this evening. I have been looking forward to this event as it is a very exciting time for everyone here with the possibility of becoming a part of something so special. That being said, we will jump right into the PowerPoint presentation. The North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission Law Enforcement Division will be accepting applications from May 1st through May 31st for our upcoming 61st Basic Academy. This application window will include both the traditional and accelerated programs. After the application deadline and the application is closed, there will be an initial background and qualification screening that will take place during June. If you meet those qualifications, you will be sent an invitation to a one-day event where you will complete a physical abilities assessment, the Nelson-Denny Reading Comprehension Assessment, and a brief pre-exit interview with a wildlife officer. These will take place in July at the Samarkand Training Facility in Jackson Springs, North Carolina. This is tentatively scheduled for the beginning of July. If chosen, you will receive an invitation for a formal panel interview in late July that will also be held at the Samarkand Training Facility. Once the formal panel interviews are complete, those candidates moving forward will receive an in-depth and thorough background investigation taking place August through September. Those selected will receive a conditional job offer pending a physical and psychological evaluation. These evaluations will be completed in various locations across the state. This is tentatively scheduled for mid to late October. The trainees chosen for the 61st NCWRC Basic Academy will start in December 2024 or January 2025. The 61st Basic Academy will be comprised of both a traditional program and an accelerated program. The traditional program includes both NC Basic Law Enforcement Training and specific wildlife law enforcement training. The accelerated program will be a condensed training focused mainly on the specific wildlife law enforcement training. So, you may be asking yourself, am I qualified to apply for this career? Here you can see listed the minimum requirements to be eligible for both the traditional program and the accelerated program. Traditional. You must have a high school diploma or GED. You must be 20 years old prior to passing the BLET state exam. The state BLET exam for the upcoming Basic Academy will take place in May of 2025. You must take a standardized reading comprehension assessment and score at the 10th grade level or higher. You must be capable of passing a modified police officer physical abilities test, also called the POPAT, meet all the background, medical, and psychological requirements previously discussed. You will have to complete the approximate 30-week Basic Academy. And finally, you must be willing to relocate for both your 6-month field training assignment and your permanent duty station. Both the field training and permanent assignments can be located anywhere within North Carolina. For the accelerated program, you must have a high school diploma or GED. You must take a standardized reading comprehension assessment and score at the 10th grade level or higher. You must be capable of passing a modified police officer's physical abilities test, or the POPAT. Meet all the background, medical, and psychological requirements previously discussed. Complete 12 weeks of the Basic Academy and 18 weeks of on-the-job training. Hold a current general law enforcement certification in North Carolina from Criminal Justice Training and Standards. This includes a minimum of 1 year sworn law enforcement experience, or possess one prior to the date of hire. Hired applicants will be assigned to the county they applied and were selected for, and will be required to live within 15 road miles from that county by their hire date. On-the-job training will be completed in that general location as well as the 3-month field training after successful completion of the Basic Academy. Both the traditional program and the accelerated program will begin the Basic Academy at the San Mercan Training Facility in Jackson Springs. The 61st Basic Academy will be extremely mentally and physically demanding. All trainees will be exposed to a paramilitary style instruction focused on discipline, teamwork, organization, and attention to detail. This type of instruction will prepare trainees for high-stress situations in the field. While at the training academy, all trainees will attend regular instructor-led physical training sessions 3 to 4 days a week. They must be willing to work flexible hours, with training often starting early in the morning and extending late into the night. Trainees will also receive scenario-based training focused on realistic law enforcement encounters and are required to be exposed to agency-issued taser equipment. Upon arrival at the Basic Academy, all trainees will begin receiving their starting salary and will be placed in dormitory-type housing. Training at the Basic Academy typically takes place Monday through Friday. Trainees are required to reside on campus during this time. They are required to leave the training facility on weekends, but must return on Sunday night to prepare for the following week's training. Traditional and accelerated programs will train together for the first week of the Basic Academy. This week will focus on issuing of gear and equipment, completing administrative paperwork, and team building exercises. The second week of the Basic Academy, the traditional program and the accelerated program will split. The traditional program will begin the BLET portion of the academy, and the accelerated program will begin completing training required for their lateral law enforcement certification. After completing this required training, the accelerated program will begin their approximate 18 weeks of on-the-job training near their assigned county. The accelerated program trainees will be sworn in as certified North Carolina wildlife law enforcement officers once their lateral transfers have been approved by North Carolina Criminal Justice Training and Standards. During the traditional program's BLET portion of the Basic Academy, trainees will receive extensive training on various law enforcement duties, including elements of criminal law, arrest, search, and seizure, patrol techniques, driver's training, firearms, subject control and arrest techniques, CS, gas exposure, interview and interrogation, physical fitness training, and so forth. After completing this portion of the training, all trainees will be required to pass the North Carolina BLET state exam before continuing to the advanced training portion of the Basic Academy. The traditional and accelerated programs will join together after the traditional program completes the BLET state exam, starting the wildlife law enforcement specific training of the Basic Academy. During this portion of the Basic Academy, all trainees will reside on campus Monday through Friday, minus holidays, with the same requirements mentioned earlier. All trainees will receive advanced training focused on the primary duties of a North Carolina wildlife law enforcement officer. Trainees will receive training on advanced topics such as game warden tactics, advanced control techniques, wildlife identification, wildlife and boating laws, reality-based simunition training, boat operation, covert operations, and various other topics. During the wildlife law enforcement specific portion of the Basic Academy, all trainees will participate in a rite of passage 5-mile run. The objective and expectation of each trainee is to complete the 5-mile run in under 45 minutes or at least a 9-minute per mile pace. Failure to achieve this objective does not result in dismissal from the program. This event is a measure of the trainee's overall physical fitness progress throughout the training program. This milestone is a good measure of cardiovascular fitness that interested applicants can use to prepare for attending the Basic Academy. Upon completing the Basic Academy, all traditional program trainees will be sworn in as certified North Carolina wildlife law enforcement officers. There will be a formal graduation ceremony for friends and family of the entire 61st Basic Academy. Upon completing the Basic Academy, officers will be assigned a field training location. Before graduating from the Basic Academy, trainees from the traditional program will be notified of their assigned training location with adequate time to search for housing. This training location can be in any of the 100 counties across North Carolina. Trainees will be responsible for providing their own housing for the rest of their careers once they have graduated from the Basic Academy. Officers with families or significant others may elect to bring them to their assigned training location. During this time, trainees from the traditional program will be paired with a field training officer for 6 months. Trainees from the accelerated program will be paired with a field training officer for 3 months. Trainees will work daily with their assigned training officers and be expected to mirror their training officer's work schedule. Trainees will be evaluated on their daily overall performance by their field training officers. Upon completion of the field training period, officers will be given a permanent duty station. For the traditional program officers, their permanent duty station can be in any of the 100 counties across North Carolina and will likely be different from their training assignment. Officers from the accelerated program will begin working in their hired permanent duty station. All wildlife enforcement officers may reside up to 15 miles outside your assigned county if approved by the colonel. All officers may apply for a lateral transfer to a vacant position when advertised at any time after being assigned their permanent duty station. Laterals will be granted based off of seniority or, in the case of equal time, an interview. Officers can also elect to remain in their permanent duty assignment for as long as desired. If you're fortunate enough to become a North Carolina wildlife law enforcement officer, your daily responsibilities will seldom be the same. While an officer's primary responsibilities are enforcing hunting, boating, fishing, and trapping, you will undoubtedly encounter much more. Coming up, we will look at some of the day-to-day duties, responsibilities, and activities of a North Carolina wildlife law enforcement officer. Wildlife officers are the primary law enforcement authority of all inland state waters. Officers patrol boating on all waters of the state, from the mountains to the coast. You can think of wildlife officers enforcing boating laws and ensuring public safety on the water, similar to the Highway Patrol enforcing laws and ensuring safety on the state's highways and roads. When working boating activity, officers' boating duties consist of patrolling recreational boating activity, conducting routine compliance checks of boating safety equipment, as well as focus on the detection and prevention of careless and reckless boat operation. Another major focus for officers working boating is the prevention of impaired boating by detecting and arresting impaired operators. This is often accomplished through focused on-the-water details that sometimes include multiple agencies. The North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission is the sole agency responsible for investigating boating incidents. These investigations include boat accident reconstruction, courtroom testimony, and coordinating with media personnel. Officers' patrol efforts also include working hunting and fishing activity by boat, conducting pre-launch boating safety check stations, and instructing boating education classes for the public. North Carolina wildlife officers are the primary law enforcement authority in North Carolina to enforce hunting laws and hunting violations on both private and public lands. Other duties will include acting as the lead investigator for hunting incident investigations, instructing hunter education classes, leading programs, and assisting with hunter education tournaments. While it is well known that wildlife officers in North Carolina enforce hunting laws, not everyone may be aware of what is sometimes necessary to detect hunting violations. Detecting these violations is not always an easy task. Officers frequently utilize covert or inconspicuous techniques to apprehend offenders. Some of these tactics can include, but are not limited to, utilizing trail cameras, night vision, drones, thermal optics, ATVs, or our agency aircrafts. Officers will be detecting violations such as night hunting, hunting during the closed season, bag and season limits, manner of take, and many more. As an officer, you will also complete routine hunting checks and make great contacts in the field. These contacts will not always result in an enforcement action. In fact, most of the everyday routine checks as a wildlife officer often end with a positive interaction with the public. Many come with the opportunity to make a lasting impact. Another major part of the career as a North Carolina wildlife enforcement officer is patrolling fishing activity. Thousands, if not millions of anglers take to our state's waterways each year in hopes of catching the big one. As a wildlife officer, you will complete routine fishing compliance checks, attend and organize fishing events and programs available for the public, as well as detect and enforce various fishing law violations such as creel and size limit violations. While trapping is becoming somewhat of a lost art throughout the United States, trapping is still a very prevalent aspect in the career of a wildlife officer. When patrolling trapping as an officer, you will be responsible for trapping compliance checks with the public and ensuring that trapped animals are handled humanely by enforcing all trapping regulations. North Carolina wildlife officers are called upon to complete many tasks that are not always in an enforcement capacity. One of those tasks is to assist the public with human-wildlife interactions. Human-wildlife interactions occur daily in North Carolina and may require the assistance of an officer. Wildlife officers in North Carolina assist the public with capturing, transporting, and relocating wildlife to certified rehabilitators or for relocation purposes. Wildlife officers, commonly referred to as game wardens, are often considered to be the Swiss Army knife of law enforcement. This may be because, while in performance of their duties within our subject matter jurisdiction, officers in North Carolina are often exposed to and expected to handle violations that are not necessarily wildlife related. Wildlife officers in North Carolina have full arrest authority. We will sometimes detect and charge violations such as littering, driving while impaired, drug activity, breaches of the peace, and any other threats to public safety. Officers are highly involved in search and rescue efforts, emergency management efforts, as well as assisting local, other state, or federal agencies when needed. The starting pay for hired trainees will be approximately $50,000 annually. Hired trainees will begin receiving their salary immediately at the start of the basic academy. You will also receive state health care, a 30-year retirement pension with a law enforcement supplement, and a 401k. Other various benefits of being a North Carolina wildlife officer are that you will have a flexible work schedule, varying working environments and conditions, paid holiday and military leave, an agency-issued take-home vehicle, and career development opportunities. Some of these potential opportunities include, but are not limited to, promotional opportunities, field training officer, general and specialized instructor, specialized training, boating and hunting incident reconstruction, honor guard, special operations unit, swiftwater rescue, drone operator, and aircraft pilot. As we wrap up this PowerPoint presentation, I want to encourage anyone that is interested in applying for the position to begin making yourself a competitive candidate. I encourage you to engage in North Carolina wildlife regulated activities, reach out to a local wildlife officer in your area for possible ride-along opportunities, and focus on improving your physical fitness. As previously discussed, we will be accepting applications May 1st through May 30th. At the conclusion of this event, you will receive an email with a link directing you to our careers page. Please feel free to email us at enforcementjobs@ncwildlife.org for further information. This concludes the presentation. I want to thank everyone for listening. Before I go, I just want to say that becoming a wildlife officer in North Carolina is not an easy task. It will require hard work, long hours, dedication, sacrifice, and determination. In my opinion, there's no greater career out there. Thank you for your attendance. We will now begin the question and answer session of the presentation.